Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, the largest platform for SMEs, MSMEs and startups in Sunanda Jai Sealan. On the show today, we're in conversation with three entrepreneurs who are doing something exciting, doing something different, and also talking about what innovation is looking like in each of the industries. Let's quickly introduce them. First up is Betterplace. I'm also in conversation with Zouk and NCPDEP. Komal Prajapati, the CTO and product head of Betterplace, joining us first here in the LOT hot seat. Komal, good having you on the show today. I want to understand first off, the model for Betterplace. What would you like to tell our viewers about what the company does?
Betterplace started back in 2015, and currently we are the largest tech platform for blue-collar workforce management. We work with more than 1,000 customers in India, 1,000 companies in India for workforce management related solution. And Betterplace, we are a portfolio of SaaS products or software as a service products to manage the employee life cycle end to end, starting from hiring, sourcing, placement to onboarding, training, background verification. Largely, we cater to customers across the industries. We have customers in manufacturing, facility management, IT, on-demand services, logistics, uh, BFSI, retail, and bunch of other industries.
So as you just mentioned, working with blue collar workers is complicated in the sense that it's very fragmented. There's so many moving parts. What then made you decide that this was the segment that you wanted to do work in?
Currently, the space is undergoing digitization, and that is where I think the opportunity as well as the scope lies for us to create a very sustainable business and also the impact story in this space. We are coming in, filling that gap, creating the right products to create the automation as well as provide uh, uh, them all the means to be able to manage the employees with the least effort and most hassle-free manner.
What impact has the pandemic had on your work, Komal?
The impact has been very short term, mainly around the lockdowns that have been there. But overall, it has also increased the tailwind for digitization in this space. So every time we are coming out of a lockdown, there was a dip in the business, uh, but it was a stronger recovery after that and a stronger growth after that.
2021, what plans could you share with us?
So we have gone digital in terms of the entire life cycle of, I think, our sales cycle that we look at from basically pre-sales to deployment to customers using the product and then the customer support. Uh, and I think that is also the way to go. We focus on providing solutions which are touchless, uh, uh, and also the solutions uh, which help employers in tracking, managing the impact of COVID in their workforce, and reach out to the people who need help at a different point of time. So we have been very responsive and watchful of how our products offerings need to change in COVID environment, and we have done that uh, and made our solutions more COVID relevant. There's a stronger push for going digital from our customers, potential customer side as well, and that is something that we are facilitating, and we are happy to work with many customers who are now looking to go digital. So it has made, I think, the overall solutions processes more agile and I think more robust. So we have had a bunch of our customers come to us, and then we reached out to a lot of customers and discovered basically what are the areas they are struggling with, how we can pitch in and contribute in their fight to basically fight the COVID and also help their employee base. And we came up with solutions which are very scale efficient in how employers can track the and mitigate the COVID risk in their workforce. And we also set up something known as Emergency Response Team (ERT) for getting access to critical resources.
All right, Komal, thanks for your time. Before we slip into a break, in fact, we have another entrepreneur who's also joining us in the LOT hot seat, and this is Disha Singh of Zouk. Disha, good having you joining us here on the show. First off, I want to ask you uh, the idea behind Zouk. I find it quite innovative. I'm personally, quite invested in the space of, vegan leather, etc. But I want to understand from you, and if you could talk to our viewers about really the idea behind Zouk.
So Zouk is a direct-to-consumer brand for bags, wallet, and accessories. We are a proudly Indian and 100% PETA-approved vegan brand. We bring stylish and functional products with an essence of India. We majority sell via our own website, zouk.co.in, and we are also present in other marketplaces like Amazon. And on the back of it, we have our own manufacturing facility here in Mumbai where we have upskilled the local artisans from Dharavi to make handmade and cruelty free products.
So you say that most of your products sell on your own platform versus third-party platforms, etc. Why is that? Isn't it more difficult for you to sell on this versus having to work with larger third-party platforms?
The idea of Zouk came to me in the second year of my MBA from Ahmedabad. Uh, for one of our courses, we went to Kutch, and my friends saw many shops that sold local handicrafts. Right, they loved the color, the craftsmanship, but never brought anything from them. Right, when I asked further. They said that they were very loud in terms of the prints that they have used, and they lack the modern sensibility, right? And that is when I decided that I want to build something around modernizing the Indian handicraft, which is basically to make products with an essence of India, right? After doing some research on different markets, I decided to start with bag space. Just the Indian bags market is a $1 billion dollar plus market in itself. I also saw that it was ripe for disruption, where we saw a large percentage of Indian working women wore Indian ethnic wear to office, but had to carry a boring black-looking backpack and a Western-looking handbag, right? And that is how we launched our popular, proudly Indian office bag and laptop bag for working women.
You started saying proudly Indian much before we had the slogans of Atmanirbhar, etc. Why is that? And why did you feel it was important to communicate that?
We very early on observed that bags brand mostly try to project a very international image. However, everyone knows that the brands are Indian, right? So we felt that the right approach is to embrace the rich Indian heritage and leverage it, right? And that reflects in our product and brand, right? We are not just made in India brand, but our products also speaks for itself, right? And that is our product USP, that we came in market with, right? And most importantly, that is what our customers loves us for, right? So we decided that we will be very vocal about it, right? In fact, we have been saying that we are made in India and local brand, much before vocal for local became popular, right? In fact, we believe that this will immensely help us when we expand our geographical footprint. Our vision for Zouk is to make it a global consumer brand from India.
You are in the area of vegan leather. Now, when you're saying veganism, typically, one normally associates that term with food, but why did you decide that you wanted to take that concept and associate it with the accessory space, with the handbag space?
um, Veganism is actually linked to adopting a cruelty-free approach and treating animals ethically, right? It started when when a friend of mine long time back showed me a video showing how animal-based products are made, and that was horrific, and I was very sure that we are not going to take that path, right? And that is when we decided that Zouk will be 100% vegan and will be a responsible brand, right? And that also helps our customer carry a more responsible product with them, right? And today we are a PETA approved vegan brand, right? The awareness of veganism is in India is increasing, right? And I understand that it's still a lot about food related, right? But we feel that things will change, right? And customer will change for good, and they will recognize that what they are carrying also needs to be responsible, right? And cruelty free, right? So I'm confident that this will increase in the coming years, and we will adopt veganism not only as a food habit but also as a lifestyle choice.
So, would you look at moving beyond bags? What could you tell us on that?
At Zoop, we are you know, building a brand that mixes style and functionality, right? The brand will stand for making responsible products and have and practices, right? And we will always have an essence of India, right? So as we scale, we will be expanding our products both in the bags categories as well as outside of that, in the broader fashion and lifestyle space, right? In our mind, we have just started, and we are in it to build an enduring business.
All right, Disha, thanks for your time. Good having you here, and all the very best. Let's look into a break. On the other side, we are in conversation with NCPDEP. Do stay tuned, back in just a moment. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Tonight in the hot seat is Dawinder Singh of 9gem.com. Dawinder, thanks for joining us on the hot seat today. Let's talk first about NCPDEP, what the organization is, what work it is that you do.
NCPDEP is the leading organization which is working with the government, with organizations in India and internationally, along with persons with disability. So it is basically working into the problems faced by the disabled and highlighting those problems with the government and letting it into formalized into policies by the government. And it has done a lot in since the last around 25 years, starting from, we can say that the first disability law of India, NCPDP was behind it. Then inclusion of disability in census, NCPDP was behind. Thereafter, accessible elections. So there are so many things. Finally, it was RPD in 2016. So there are so many things which for which NCPD has played a very vital role. So we can say that it's a leading organization which has done a lot for the benefit of the community.
I just want to read out some data points that we've picked up. A report showing that the employment rate of people with disabilities is about 0.28% in the private sector, 0.54% in the public sector. What are the challenges, when it comes to employment for people with disabilities? What are the biggest challenges?
The figures that you have, actually, if we see the actual number of disabled person in India, the percentage, as per census 2011, it is around less than 3%. But in RPT 2016, at least the number of disabilities has increased from 7 to 21. And on the ground, the percentage of disability is much, much higher. You can say it is between 12 to 15% unofficially. So if we take the figure that you were giving, they are much, much more meager than as compared to actual figures on the ground. So still, if we take that figure that it is what you are telling me for the public sector and the private sector, the reason for very low employment rate, there are so many challenges faced by the person with disabilities. First of all, we can see that the accessible infrastructure in India, we don't have a very good accessible infrastructure. So people with disabilities, they are not even able to move out. For to get employed, they have to come out their houses. For that, they have to use the public transport. For they have to go to the offices. So at every level, we can say that things are changing a bit. But in tier one cities only. If we talk about tier two, tier three, and smaller cities, there is a very, very big challenge for all of the disabled community to get employed. And the figures, if you take it more deeper, if you check the ratio of the employment of the person with disabilities, it is much higher in the tier one cities as compared to the other. So the thing is that apart from the accessible infrastructure, the other part is the sensitivity of the society, of the corporates, that to employ the disabled workforce. Since the disabled workforce, they are very, very dedicated, very, very honest. But we are not, we are surprisingly, the corporates and the other organizations, they are a bit reluctant to employ disabled workforce. No doubt, if we talk about some, I won't say any names, but there are some hotel chains who are employing disabled persons specifically. But still, the level at which they are employing the disabled persons, it is just, we can say, a class 3 and class 4 jobs. They are not taking them to a higher management levels. If we talk about me, I am having my own business. I am working at the senior level. I had running it very successfully, pan India, even globally. But I don't know why the corporates are still hesitating to employing them at a higher levels. So challenges are so many: accessible infrastructure, the state of mind of the corporates to take them into the management, and many, many more challenges over there. Unless until the state of mind is not changed of the society towards the specially able, the gap is not going to be covered.
Another piece of statistic, the World Bank saying that 70 to 100 million Indians are in some way or the other differently abled, and a large percentage of them are youth. So, how are you as a platform, how are you as an organization really ensuring that you're providing a platform for equal opportunities to young people like that?
That NCPDEP is a leading organization which has been working since decades. Basically, they are focusing on the core problems. As there wasn't any disability law, if there is any disability law, people are not at all aware of the problems faced by the disabled people. So the law covers so many aspects. So employment is a you can say it's a byproduct. It's empowering people. But how we are going to empower people unless until we are going to create conditions favorable for the specially why we are let us take the case. I am a disabled person. Why I am disabled? Because I have something which is not equal to the able person. So in case we are not covering that gap, that we are at par with the able person, that gap is not going to be covered. The employment, the empowerment is not going to be covered. Another point is that you can say that, as I told you, the data in the census 2001, NCPD included the disability in the census part. So the government started getting data of how many people, disabled people are there in India. So from that, in no doubt, the data is not accurate, but still they came to know that so many people are disabled. Subsequently, the policy started getting inclined towards the disabled persons. Then came the elections. In the elections, people were not getting proper infra again to getting the votings. The voting machines were not at all accessible, so they were converted into braille. So there wasn't any ramps over there. Again, infra accessibility part is over there. So finally, what I feel that NCPDP has done a lot of work to getting highlighting the problems faced by the specially able and brought it to the knowledge of the government, and finally the policies got inclined towards the disabled, and subsequently the employment rates started increasing. It's very obvious if you go back 2 decades back in 2000 and you took some surveys in 2010 and current, the employment rates are quite high, and these are all just because that it's being done, the good things are being done, policies are being shifted, and employment rates are increasing.
So, the laws when it comes to ensuring a level playing field for people with different abilities who are differently abled, there are no strict laws. There's no a framework from what I understand. If you want this to change, what would you want urgently for the government to do when it comes to ensuring that there are changes in the way people with different abilities are being hired and employed?
The government, no doubt, government has done good thing in the policies. As the disability law was there, there were so many flaws in the disability law. That was 1995, came into 1995. So subsequently, they realized that there won't be anything much better if you're going to amend this law again and again. So it was recommended by the disability activist organizations that the law should be changed. So it was replaced by Right to Person Disability Act 2016. So it has covered so many aspects. You can say almost all the aspects have been covered in that law, and the number of disability raised from 7 to 21. It is just because that the government is optimistic and they want to do something. But the thing is that only that person can feel the problem who is himself or herself in the problem. So government in the what we lack in the government part is that the minister of social justice state doesn't have anything who is feeling this pain. In case some minister comes who is himself or herself from the disability sector, I think the policies will be much more better at what we are comparing it today. But still, whatever has been done till date by the government, it is in the positive direction, but a lot more is still is pending to be done from the government side.
Dawinder, thank you very much for your time. Completely out of time in this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our details are on your screens as we speak. Thank you so much for watching.